Manchester, UK. It's part 4 now, the dam breach of 1852. Stephen Goddard. Hope we're all well. If you're very keen, you'll spot fish on the reservoir. So I've decided to film each reservoir from the dam. It's probably the best option. So I came in from that direction. Here we go. That direction over there. So we're now on the third dam of the third reservoir. Been trying to film this for a while, so I've had to wait for the rain to stop. My lens got wet on the last shoot. So here's the main reservoir. The bottom reservoirs, people fishing, but they'll be alright. Over there. So it's part of Lowercroft Mill, or Lowercroft Dye Works, which was printing cotton, which is quite unusual. Well, this is what becomes Elton Brook. It is Elton Brook now. Disappears. It's part of the overflow system. We'll see where that emerges. That's its normal flow. That's the old wall of part of the mill, and pipes are part of the structure. So it's going to break up slightly on this one because I can't disturb the fishermen. It's private in this day and age. So we're just going to do this once because of the sun, and then so off over there. So that's the site of the mill. It's now Lowercroft Motor Vehicles and other companies. There's a pipe. Pull those off. One more shot then. Of the reservoir. And it's dam. There's things over there worth a look at. I'm being quiet because people are fishing and they get upset with you. So the water's cascading through that reservoir. No, that's the dam. So normally it flows through this little culvert, guided culvert. And I've also checked the map of 1852, and the dye works, or the printing mill, had the road, which is still in existence. It's called Lowercroft Dip round here, and it will be obvious to anybody who sees it exactly which direction the flow of the water took, because it has to go through the bottom of the dip. And there is the old mill, and it's still in existence but in bits. So this is our first jump to the next section, which will include parts of old walls. If you look at the top bit of that, it's actually been worn Now I've seen that before. It's not like water, it's a corrosion of some description. Something's maybe flown over it, but I think it's the fumes from bleaches or something. And if you look very closely, something's been bricked off there, and I think that could be the older dam. Can't be certain, because any maps will just say there's a dam here. If not, it's something that crosses the dam, like a railway cart of some description maybe. So we'll avoid the sun. See the ground that we're on. Once again, nature starts to take over. Jesse, Haworth Church is in the distance. At the brow of the hill there is Walshaw. This area here is Lower Croft Dip, but it's actually an area called Pleasington, or Pleasington. So, last bit in this area, it drops down there, and we've got stonework again. Again, there's stonework, and down there is the site of the mill. It's been rebuilt obviously in sections. I suspect the dam has as well, or been replaced in some way. Gotta be careful, you see, because there's people fishing. Manchester, UK. 3 videos at a time as we go. The same flow of the water breach, and it's coming over the top of that now. So back to 1852. Let's carry on with the story. So it's come over the top of there, but obviously it'll be dropping into that basin like a very, very rapid waterfall. And we can see remains of all sorts in here. And I also put in my notes that children were in this mill, and I also said nobody was injured. But we're talking 1852, and some of the most powerful people and wealthiest people, you know, around, friends with everybody, high up, friends in high places is what the saying was. So if somebody accidentally was hurt, or maybe even killed, a lot of people then, you know, they were homeless and poor, they might have been a child, they might have paid the family off. I think the top dam breached, actually, personally, but it's just a conspiracy little theory I've got. And what they've done, they've got an artist, because the picture in the paper is a drawing, like what you find on the internet when people are saying that things exist but there's no real evidence. They've got drawings and stuff. It's very doubtful. So you get an artist to come and you draw a breach in the middle dam where the overflow is, and then you send that off to the London Times and you bung them a few quid, don't you? Right, so the top one, the reason you'd lie is because that is probably where that pipe was fitted, and it was probably bad engineering maybe. Then we're talking industrial manslaughter or industrial, you know what I mean, you still get in trouble for, and they might have, the powers that be might have said, well, don't rebuild that top dam, and that would have cost him a lot of money, because I think it supplies the Cocky Moor and the coal for the whole area around here. So think about it, yeah. And then they patched that one up, because Mr. Knowles didn't write in his diary which dam had actually burst that evening, it says in the newspapers. So we're in the site of the older mill. As I say, it'll be a bit bitty because we're in the modern day and it's some busy traffic. Plus it's all been rebuilt. So the main road goes through, and the road went through back in 1852, but there's no motorised vehicles. But there was horses and carts. So that So these have been rebuilt on the older site, and there's some of the older walling of the older mill. And there's some evidence here, some evidence of the older wall. Manchester, UK, brief videos of time. We're just trying to get the mill, and we remember the modern world, I don't mind filming so much. It's just that it is rush hour. Cars really are the noisiest things in the world. I had to get this stonework, don't we? So that is part of the older mill, and look how it's worn. Also, check out these doors. Hello, is anybody home? And even more of the wall here. So more of the wall. I think that's been rebuilt, but it's all the existing site in this area, the road as well, which is still busy, as you may or may not noticed. So that's the one time I'm going to get it. So we'll flip round to an old way marker. I'm going to get away from this road as quickly as possible. I think some people confuse the road here with the Big Dipper ride at Blackpool Pleasure Beach maybe. So they accelerate down the hill to get up the other side, but they're totally not following the speed limit. There used to be a police thing here all the time. I'm not being a bore, but it is dangerous. You can't accelerate like that down a hill. If you lose control or get a puncture, you're doing some serious damage to you or somebody else. You know that you're supposed to follow the safety laws, not just get home as quick as you can through a village. Alright, okay. Plus, I can't film properly now. This is the outer walls. So the mill has the road going through the middle. That was Lowcroft Dip in the basin. We've been here before because Jesse Howarth Church is on the horizon. And we've seen it loads and loads and loads of times. And these walls here. So, Manchester, UK. Big videos of time with Stephen Goddard. How are we doing? Hope we're doing very well. So that's the wall we're now saying is the outer wall of the main mill. Lowcroft Mill. It's Tottington Print and Dyeing Company. I'm trying to move as fast as I can. So it's going through. There's multiple buildings on this site. So we've seen a few dotted about. So as the water went over the top of the dam at the bottom, it would have evened it all out and it would have gone in one wave, and it would have gone through in and out of all the mill buildings and across that dip with some force. Now don't forget, we started and I showed you a culverted channel, so the original stream still goes underneath. And we're going to end this edition, well, this is part 4 as I said, of 1852 Dam Breech of Whitehead Lodge. As I get Jesse Howarth Church on the horizon. And we're on Dow Lane, which is reported to be Roman. And I've said there's stones in there that are different. But remember, so it's the site of old mills, but it's also farmland. And we're in an ancient village, remember, so there's all sorts here for a long, long time, and there's pebbles on this road. Lots and lots of pebbles. I don't know why, but there's lots of pebbles. Anything that was washed away from the original dam, by the way, I thought I'd have a look. would be in that bottom lodge. So any stones that fell apart or washed away, there'll be no like traces. They'll be at the bottom of the bottom lodge. One day when they dredge that thing, you'll find things, evidence. And we won't say anything more about the top dam. It was just a little theory, a little story. And then I said it all adds up that the story is just true. But the middle one went. So we'll follow that for now. We're not going to go into anything. I'm just saying that at the time, the most powerful people running the place, they're also running the courts, and they're all masons basically. So they're all best mates, like Robert Peel. And well, Robert Peel's passed away by now. Needs to get more information about Robert Peel. I think it's 1780 to 1865. I can't remember when he lives. But the next generation are now coming in 1850. They've been old people, well, respectful older gentlemen. But remember, your life expectancy was much lower. So the water's going through there, which is now a modern housing place, but the water would definitely be going through where that place is now. I say, still on the outer wall, still on the modern world. Manchester, UK, 3 videos at a time, and we're still following the dam breach. There's the evidence of some Roman roads, well, possibly. Not sure exactly. Someone, I'll find out exactly one day. We'll go into that one day. Roman, Egyptian, the past before the past we all get taught in the modern world, basically. Back to the last ice age, about 16,000 years ago. I'm into all that. I'm into the fossil side of it and what have you. So the water busts right through here now, smashing all these trees out the way and the mill wall. So this is the very back, and this road's in existence, Dowell Lane. It leads up to Cocky Moor, and there's a bit of the wall there, and I've got to get all this in before we run out of digital footage, which is what always happens, because I can be incredibly unlucky. So we're off into there very shortly. So that'll turn into part 5. We're in near Scholes Nursery and Lee's Nursery. I'll try and get a shot of, as part of it, Scholes' house, and it's an old mill, but it's not relevant to the flood. But it's relevant to the time period. So it's coming through here, let's say, but really it's be coming out of about 5 different ways. And over here, which is a weir, and it's a dam where the culverted Elton Brook will soon appear, the one that disappeared under our dam at Whitehead Lodge, the bottom reservoir. And then we jump into the trees very quickly, because I've done this. It was very bitty, wasn't it? I had to edit it. We've travelled about half a mile, by the way, in 20 minutes. Showing you the flow of this water. Okay. We're going to go off into the trees. Careful I don't get stung, because I haven't got a stick, and everyone knows you should have a stick. So that's a weir with the sun behind it. So that's a weir, and we have to head down this pathway towards where the brook re-emerges, which as usual is not easy to get to without breaking a twig or two and getting a stinging nettle or two. That's towards Chandler's, so it's Elton Vale and Elton Village in that direction, and that grassy land we saw there, which we don't have time to go and get, is a mine. But the water's going through here now, and that is a weir. It's built up like that, and there's all kinds of different water channels in here. There's actually the guided Elton Brook. As we see, me, Stephen Goddard, hello Manchester, UK, just finding our direction. That way, no, this way, that's the one. Big tall tree there, so that's one of the older ones. If you look very closely, that's a sycamore tree. You don't really get sycamore trees as big as some of the ones you'll see around here. But remember, some of these have grown mainly since the mill's gone. But if you'd look, there's a lot fallen in that direction, so we could imagine that the Great Flood just happened, which is good. And we're getting it all in line and linear time. I get down to Elton Vale as quick as I can, because I need to get the wharf. And also, I'm going to use my right of way, because I need to go on some private property, which is something that's not always advised. And here is Elton Brook in its 1850 culverted stonework channel. Now, are we getting that? A lot better than we used to get things anyway, aren't we? So, comes out through there. Little brook. Little brook. In an old stone tunnel, which leads all the way up to that reservoir and is underneath the mill the whole way. And this is now the water treatment place for the next mill. So they have to now take all the dyes and colours out of the water. See what I mean? It's a system, but all them dyes and bleaches obviously are going to be picked up by this flood water. That's what I mean, it's a lot more serious than... And that's a bit more modern, but I don't know how much more modern. Another culverted stream with soap in it. So, don't know what it's attached to. Look into that another time. Right, we're going to be brave now and go across the little wooden bridge and off into the distance up there. Elton Brook soon enters a culvert. And that's just about ready to give. You know what, you could go up there. You see it? The water comes out anyway through that direction. Off down there. I'm getting covered in spider webs and stings, by the way. And that's the other water channel with the soap coming out, which helps it to pick up on camera, to be fair. In there you can hear water, but there's nothing coming out, so that's an unusual little bit. But remember, there's a weir that enters a gate soon, and it's all entering a water channeled system. It's been used in the mill. The bottom reservoir is what powers Lowercroft printing works. We enter an area now, a wooded area, wooded pathway. Whatever you want to call it. And you will see Mr. Stephen Goddard. Hello Manchester, how are we doing tonight? See what I mean, it blinds me with the glasses. But I'm just trying to be friendly, because so you know where we're at. The bird just sort of panned around behind me there, giving me the willies like they do. So this one's starting to go blurred, I know it does that, so I have to slow down, and it's been good, hasn't it? So far. So the water's blasting through here. And all these trees wouldn't have been here, or they may have been, we're not sure of their age. As we follow down, down, down. Follow that way. That's where the next part 5 will start, at the very end of that path. But we're just going to get these last few bits. That wall along there. Part of where the water treatment facility starts, and it's actually a dam or a weir. Goes off down over there. I don't know if you can see. It fills up the water in that area. Okay, and there's just one block over there that's part of some form of structure. I'm not really sure what, and that's our first little reservoir there. Well, it's a filter bed, it's called. Little filter bed. So there's a stone structure that looks like it's just been plonked here, but it won't have been because there's steel in the floor. Steel bar sticking out. You can have a look in there if you want. There's not really much going on. I've had a look. It's dirt, just filled with dirt. And then up into the trees. So we're at a point where the next one starts now. So peace out Manchester, UK. The Dam Breech, 1852. On Manchester Brief Videos of Time with Stephen Goddard. And it's being recorded as a documentary as part of a time capsule for the future. Because this is all greenbelt land which has been sold. Well, they're in the middle of trying to build and purchase this land. I don't know, I suppose it's progress. They're not really doing much, the reservoirs, to be fair.